Welcome back to Rare Elvis Photos. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, evening, morning, weekend, whenever you're watching this video. Please like, please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, please click join, bottom left, to become a member if you can become a member of the channel. As you guys know, I am a great defender of Elvis. I don't say great as in myself, I just say that I greatly defend Elvis against the idea that he was not good for America, that he was not a good person, that he was broody and abusive, like the Priscilla Sofia Coppola movie, which was executively produced by Priscilla, by the way, in case you didn't know that. She had the final say of everything as an executive producer. This video here is going to discuss Linda Thompson and Elvis. So, and immediately, I'd like for you to go to the comments as you're watching this. I think you can comment while you're watching. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. And give me your opinion on Linda. I guess first and foremost, as a person, from what you've seen since her and Elvis were together, which was 71 to 76. And we'll get into how they met and and some of the key points of their life together that they did make together at Graceland and on tour. But what do you think about Linda? Because after Elvis, she had a series of relationships that were all pretty long term, and she's got children, grandchildren. What do you think of Linda? And of course, I'll share what I think of Linda while we are going through this video. So obviously, Linda came into Elvis's life at a time where he was still married. He was married even though he wasn't like living a marriage anymore, because Priscilla had cheated on him before the comeback special, before their trip to Hawaii. According to Marty Lacker, that's why they took the trip to Hawaii. And I thought it was after that trip to Hawaii where they looked so happy. But according to Marty Lacker, she was having her affair with Stephen Peck before that. And they went on that to try to rekindle something. Maybe Elvis found out. Maybe he felt like all of his philandering prior to them being married, even though they weren't engaged, that maybe he had it coming. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm not speaking for Elvis in any way. But normally, if you find out that somebody had an affair on you, you don't normally take them on vacation. And I think that he wanted to give Priscilla every chance that he could. And of course, they went to Hawaii. It didn't work out. Things probably got worse because, in my opinion, Priscilla did not want to be married to Elvis. She never wanted to be married to Elvis, in my opinion. So Linda came along, introduced by George Klein, Elvis's close friend, came along at a crucial time in his life. It was 1971, according to Linda, at the end of 71. And, according to Linda, they spent every single day together for the first year, once they were dating. Every day. And she said she knows for a fact that Elvis was faithful to her because they spent every day together. So here's a man that everybody accuses of jumping from woman to woman. And I think a lot of that in the press probably wasn't true. It's probably made up by Colonel Parker. So his fans, at the time would think, oh, I've got a chance. I'm as pretty as her. And plus, it kept his name in the news. I don't think Elvis had as many relationships as the press put out there. Now, certainly, he had a serious one. Elvis was kind of a serial long-term dater. Think about that. June Monico was, a couple of years in the early days. And yeah, he went out and hung out with Dixie Locke, and, he had a relationship with Dixie, of course, too. But then you had Anita Wood. And she was supposedly 4 or 5 years, so, and then you had Priscilla in a sense, from 18 and, really 18 until she was about 23, or 24 in 68. And then you had Linda, who was from 1971 to 1976. So, think about that. That's three women, 57 to 62, 63 to 68, even though, Elvis had his relationships between 68 and 71 with Linda, dated a lot of women. But I think Elvis truly wanted to be serious. And that's, but his career was, it took precedence everything, not just from Elvis's viewpoint, but from Parker. And Parker didn't really allow a whole lot of, he was pretty tight-fisted when it came to controlling Elvis's career, and what would sell and what would not sell. So Linda came along in a very, very crucial time in Elvis's life when his world, in a sense, had kind of collapsed around him. So he had gotten married. My opinion, and a lot of your opinions, was that he was forced to get married. He had a beautiful baby girl. That baby girl was snatched away from him by Priscilla after her affair and her desire to find herself and spend as much money as she could by doing that, of Elvis's money, to become a famous actress, to become a famous dancer, to become a famous boutique owner. She was just trying to recreate Aunt Margaret with, dancing and acting, and Deborah Paget. Priscilla never had her own identity and truly never had her own talent, from everything I've seen. And, Linda Thompson, she had talent. She had lyric talent. She was a southern girl. And, for Elvis, that was important, because, southern women, they took care of their men. They doted on their men. It's kind of a southern thing that a lot of mothers would teach their daughters. And she was respectful, and she got along great with the Memphis Mafia. All the Memphis Mafia loved Linda. She didn't try to steal Elvis away, quote unquote. She didn't try to make it all about her and Elvis. She understood. Linda, out of everybody, in my opinion, understood what Elvis needed. Elvis needed a partner that didn't try to make the whole relationship about them. Linda accepted the Memphis Mafia. Linda accepted the fans. Linda accepted Elvis's need on his spiritual search, as well as his intellectual and personal search, to have people around him, and that included other women that shared his ideas. And in my opinion, it's a shame. I completely get why Linda left. She didn't leave because of all that. She left because she thought that she was going to wake up to Elvis dead one morning or one night. And that's a good enough reason for me that Linda had to walk away. Linda might have thought, hey, maybe he'll change his ways, because she was vocal about it towards the end, just like the Memphis Mafia were. But the thing is, Elvis, she'd saved Elvis several times, according to people around, and Linda was there during some overdoses where Elvis had taken too much, or maybe the doctors had prescribed the wrong stuff. And she was deathly afraid. And she'd lived like this for 4.5, 5 years. And I don't blame her. I know she loved Elvis. I can tell she loved Elvis. Everybody around Linda and Elvis testified that Linda loved Elvis and Elvis loved Linda. That's a big, strong testimony, because that's not the same as Priscilla and Elvis. So, in my thoughts, and I'd like to know your thoughts, and you guys know, and I'm going to continue doing a series where I go over your comments on these videos and talk to you about them, and either agree or disagree, or so your opinions are very important, and your comments are very important. Please share this video around. Get your friends to share them on the Elvis pages. There's a lot of Elvis pages that are out there on Facebook. But my opinion is that out of all the women that Elvis was with in his lifetime, and that includes Aunt Margaret, I think they had a wonderful connection, and I think that they had a wonderful love for each other. Anne wasn't willing to change for Elvis, I don't think. Linda was, and she showed that after Elvis. She showed that with Bruce Jenner, keeping his secret. She showed the willingness to be nurturing, to be loving, to be accepting. That's the 3 core things I feel that Linda has shown in her lifetime: loving, nurturing, accepting. Can't say that about Priscilla at all. I can't even say that about any. I can't even 3 of those. Not even one of those words. Not loving, not accepting, and not nurturing. I don't see. So Linda is the winner in my book. Red loved Linda. And I'm going to stop for a second. Linda was an amazing songwriter, but did y'all know that Red West was an amazing songwriter? Did you guys know that he wrote one of Elvis's most famous Christmas songs and one of his most famous songs? Both 2 of my favorites. I knew he'd written one. If Every Day Was Like Christmas. I don't know. Did you know that? And also, I see a change coming to our lives. It's not the same as it used to be. Wonderful song. Elvis was a complicated human. But I do know that Linda Thompson loved Elvis. Loved Elvis with all of her heart. Which you can't say that for Priscilla. I just can't see it because her actions. She was not nurturing, from what I've heard and read. She certainly didn't accept Elvis for who he was. Didn't accept the friends around him, the Memphis Mafia. And I know there's a lot of, let me know what you think about the Memphis Mafia, because there's a lot of opinions on them. Are they responsible for Elvis and how his life turned out, or were they true friends that were around that helped Elvis feel comfortable, that made Elvis feel accepted? Because think about this, Red West is vilified for the book Elvis What Happened, and I don't like the fact that he wrote that at all. I really wish that. It wasn't like he was not. It wasn't like he wasn't a man that couldn't take care of himself. He was a songwriter, as you could see with those 2 songs. Every Day Was Like Christmas, in separate ways, and he wrote other stuff too. But he was also an actor. Elvis would have had no problem with Red using his name to get roles, and that's probably what happened too. But anyways, let's back it up. So Linda accepted Elvis for who he was. Did not try to change him. She loved, accepted, and nurtured Elvis. That's not what Priscilla did. Priscilla in no way loved, nurtured, and accepted Elvis. And part of accepting Elvis had to do with accepting us fans, accepting the ladies, accepting the lifestyle, accepting who Elvis was, good and bad. Everybody has their sides that are not the most perfect sides, and we're all human. Elvis understood that. He recognized that and needed somebody in his life, and Linda was that somebody in his life from 71 to 76. Linda did not leave, in my opinion, out of lack of love for Elvis, out of lack of wanting to be with Elvis, wanting to stay with Elvis. She left because she was fearful that she was going to wake up, as Ginger did, to Elvis dying. Now, we haven't had much videos of Ginger on this channel for a couple different reasons. I will do one. But I know that the overlying, pervading feeling of Ginger is that if Linda was with Elvis at that time, he wouldn't have died. Now, that's a little unfair. It's certainly very unfair. As young as Ginger was, she wasn't Linda. She wasn't Linda. Linda was nurturing. Linda would stay up all night. She would sacrifice her own health. That's another reason why she left. She was really sacrificing her own health to stay with Elvis, because she was deathly afraid something was going to happen, that he would choke in his sleep, that he would, and so she spent those 4.5, 5 years taking care of Elvis, TCE, taking care of business, TCB, and those 4 years was probably like 20 years to Linda. And my personal opinion, I want to know your opinion in the comments, is that she's a wonderful person. Just take a look at her life after Elvis. Just take a look at her relationship with Bruce Jenner. How she accepted Bruce. Bruce didn't make his change to Caitlyn out of the blue. He had his way of thinking and being back then. And Linda seems like she's got wonderful relationships with her kids, with her grandkids, um, which can't be said for Priscilla. Poor Ben took his life. You know, Lisa gone from this world. Um, you know, Priscilla chooses to be friends with Michael Lockwood. I mean, she took Michael Lockwood's side during the whole separation, divorce. I mean, Linda is the anti-Priscilla, which may be why Elvis fans love her stuff. They love her so much still. And there's a big old movement I've seen on Facebook about how much it costs for Linda at Graceland to do the VIP tours. It's not a price that she sets. She gets an appearance fee. I don't have a problem with people making some money off of innocence off of Elvis, as long as their sole being, their sole purpose, their sole income is not Elvis, and also that it's not negative. That's the issue I have, or that it's not lies. That's the issue I have, in my opinion, with Priscilla going around the country promoting her life and her love of Elvis and how they were going to be together and that they would have gotten back together eventually, and all this love that they shared and all this love that they had. I don't buy it, and I won't buy it. You won't see me going there spending money. Besides, I'd get thrown out because I'd be asking some questions, even if I wasn't picked on, and then I'd get kicked out, and then I'd lose my money, and she'd have my money. I ain't doing that. I'd rather go to Graceland and spend that type of money to go on a Graceland tour with Linda. Now, I haven't. I think she was there this last year, and I probably won't. Yeah, I got a family to take care of, just like everybody else has families out there. I do go to Graceland, but I spend a lot of time on this channel. Spend a lot of time making videos. These things don't make themselves, and I have a full-time job. In fact, I got more than one full-time job. I've got three full-time jobs. And that's not really a joke, because all day long, I work, and then I've got other things that I do. I've got an eBay channel. I get an eBay store. Uh, and I've done marketing work in the past. Anyways, it's a long story. Somebody had responded about how I was the pot calling the kettle black when I was saying, talking about Priscilla making a living off Elvis. And trust me, I can't even buy a cup of coffee with this channel. Really. And of course, once I got shut down for being too anti-Priscilla and by putting too much truth out there, that certainly did affect things because I had a lot of members at the time. Regardless, I don't have a problem. Don't have a problem with Billy Smith, uh, in his channel. I think he's wonderful. I think folks that are out there that are putting their stories out there that were with Elvis, they need to be rewarded in a sense because they are taking their time, and nobody makes money on YouTube except for Mr. Beast. Now that guy makes a lot of money because he's but going back to the whole Linda thing, going back to the whole Ginger thing, Ginger wrote a book. Yeah, she should be monetized for that. Those are her memories and her experience. Ginger waited a long time to write a book. Linda, same thing. There was a movie about Elvis and the Beauty Queen, which is a horrible movie, by the way. Don Johnson is a horrible Elvis. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine a worse Elvis than Don Johnson, in my opinion. Now, once again, I enjoy anything Elvis related, so I still enjoyed the movie. It just was kind of a horrible movie. Except I didn't enjoy Sofia Coppola's Priscilla because that guy was a lug. He was like Herman Munster, but not friendly. Nothing like Elvis. And the Kaylee Spaney, pretty girl. Nothing like Priscilla either. She was sweet and stuff. That's not Priscilla, in my opinion. I think that she was a fake sweet, and I think that whoever she was around, she fakely acted sweet all the time. It's my opinion, once again. So I don't want to insult those that knew Priscilla that might have had that impression of her. I just don't see. I just don't see it. I don't see it in her actions. I don't see it in her eyes. I don't see any of that. I don't see it in. They say, that the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. That your actions, um, you know, whatever actions and I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I'm trying to say that, you know, good fruit, a good tree bears good fruit. And unfortunately, I don't see good fruit in her life. I see a lot of tragedy. I see a lot of duress. I see a lot of negativity. And I see a lot of deception with Priscilla. And I don't see that with Linda. So I know this video is about Linda for the most part. But, you know, you can't talk about Linda without talking about Priscilla. Um, Anyhow, let me know what you think. If you made it through 20 minutes of this video, you are a hardcore Elvis fan. And I appreciate you. And if you didn't make it through 20 minutes, well, you're not even going to know that I said that I appreciate the people that made it through 20 minutes. So, anyways, TCB TLC. If you like this video and you want to become a member, it is the price of a cup of coffee. maybe a little bit more, cup and a half of coffee for the smaller package. But as soon as I get my membership up more, I'll find some ways to reward you members. You know, and I try to respond to as many comments as I can. But of course, if you're a member, I see your comments on the members side, and I can respond a lot quicker without sorting through it. And at some point, I'm going to have some YouTube lives with my members and talk and get to know y'all a little bit better. So, all right, well, I have that's the last minute and a half is probably worthless talk. So I'm going to get off here. TCB TLC. Till next time. This is Rare of Us Photos on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Love you much.